shipped our bikes over to Australia. We got them shipped into Brisbane and we've picked them up and we've ridden all the way up to Cooktown, just up by Cape Tribulation. And we're now heading back down the east coast, back to Brisbane, and then beyond that to Sydney. We're currently in Airlie Beach. As you can see, it's a classic 27 degrees in the tropics, which we're enjoying, getting out of that cold New Zealand winter. So join us as we ride the east coast of Australia on our 2017 Harley Davidson Road Kings. So we're in Hervey Bay. We're hoping that we've solved the riddle of the crackling external mic for the GoPro. We've covered the whole adapter in tin foil, theoretically shielding it. And Stuart took it for a test ride last night and it seems good. So we arrived here last night from Dolby. Quite a long ride, very pleasant ride. Today we're riding to Gladstone, which is quite an industrial place. It's the fourth largest export port for coal. Big railway yard there. But it'll be nice to see somewhere new. I've never been there before. So we were staying in the sort of touristy little waterfront area of Hervey Bay, and then this is the main town, which is quite big. So we're just 15 minutes out of Hervey Bay on the coast road. Well, it's quite a long way from the coast really. 9:30 in the morning. It rained last night and it's very hot today. I'd say it's about 26. Very nice temperature when we're riding, but when we stop it's pretty overwhelming with our leather gear on. Might see some black clouds again today like we did yesterday. From what we can tell, you can get a bit of rain on the coast up here. As soon as you go west, then it becomes hotter and drier. But when it rains in Queensland, I think it can be quite sort of monsoonish. It can rain really heavily and really hard. And of course this far north now is sort of cyclone country. We're not in cyclone season, but it just goes to show that they really can get a huge amount of rain here.
rocks on that bank. Quite nice through here. There's a few old sort of colonial homestead type homes, sort of home you might have expected a plantation owner in Africa to have owned. Very nice. It's a sawmill. It's like the ones that John Boy Walton and his daddy used to run. Few train lines. We have to assume that the bells and whistles all work. Houses through here are pretty high up on their stilts, like this one on the left here. Anyway, this is Burham. So this is what the main highway looks like. I think we're on the A2. There's no getting around having to use it this morning. It links us up with the next smaller road, and to avoid this would have meant doing sort of a heading south to go north, which seems pointless. So we're just on this for a short time. But these are the roads that we are trying to avoid. These are the roads that we both find very, very boring. Very boring to ride on. You'd actually think that it's nice and easy to ride on these roads, but it's hard to stay concentrating on what's up ahead. You just sort of drift off and start looking around, and before you know it, everything up ahead of you stopped and you're dreaming away. One of the differences about being on these big highways are the trucks. Considerably bigger than the trucks we've got at home. I've only seen I've seen a truck that's got 3 trailers when we were in Dolby. Those were the big the ones passing through on the main highway going into the interior. I haven't seen a 3-trailer truck on this kind of highway, but they'd be quite a challenge to pass, and they create quite a bash of wind when they come towards you. But otherwise these roads are just easy and boring and best avoided on a motorbike, really. Just in an area here called Goodwood. We've just got off the A1. And this is mango growing country. Feels very Fijian up here. Very nice. But they grow, apart from mangoes, they grow lots of avocados. All these trees on the left here. They might be mango trees. And then you look over to the right and it goes to the horizon. Mango production. Apparently it's very fertile soil because it's all volcanic. yesterday we went through a town called Kingaroy, and as soon as we got into the town I saw this big chimney that was blowing out smoke, and when we got downwind of the smoke I just immediately thought of toffee, and then I thought of honey roasted peanuts, and that's all I could think of when we were riding through this town. And then we came to the biggest building in the town, which was the peanut plant, and it turns out that Kingaroy is the peanut capital of Australia. So I was pretty chuffed that I kind of smelt it out before I knew. But I didn't even know that they grew peanuts here. I mean, the land is so fertile, it's just amazing. They seem to grow everything. They've got beautiful avocados here for $1 each. In New Zealand they're $6 each. And pineapples are $3 to $2. In New Zealand they're $5 each. So, you know, these guys can just grow tropical produce all year round. I mean, this is midwinter up here. Sugarcane on the right. Seen a lot of that now. Seems to be no particular time of year when they sow it. They just either planting it or they're cutting it, or it just seems to grow all year round here. It must be such an easy crop for them to grow. And of course a lot of that sugar goes to Bundaberg, which is just up here, 50 k's away, where they make they make soft drinks, Bundaberg soft drinks like ginger beer. But famously Bundaberg rum, which obviously takes a lot of sugar, and Bundaberg sugar. So they do a lot of mass production of their produce in this part of the country. I suppose northern and sort of central Australia is too hot to grow anything, but here they've got they really have got a Fijian climate. It's hot, humid, and often wet. So it's just, and fertile soil. So it's just it really is great produce grown country. Sugarcane on the right here again. And it looks like they've planted grapes on the left. I was reading last night that Kingaroy has been known for its peanut farming for a long time, but a lot of farmers are starting to plant grapes instead because they have such hot days and cold nights. Perfect for grapes. But everything's done on such a big scale here, you know, like they've planted whatever it is, this new crop. Maybe they're just more mango trees. But when you look at the field, it just goes to the horizon. Such big scale planting, big production. On the outskirts of Bundaberg here, heading towards the CBD. Just riding here through central Bundaberg. We're actually looking for a toilet. We're both busting. Another nice old historic building on the left, 1887. River down there, that's nice. Busy town. I'm surprised how similar some of their towns feel to New Zealand. Just small country towns that are all about farming. Over the Burnett River. All closed in on the left. This is the district of South Burnett. On the road after Bundaberg, just 10 k's out of town, and this land seems to be all about growing strawberries. All to the left here, just strawberries, huge production. A lot of macadamia nuts around as well, you know, macadamia nut trees. Very fertile land. You can see it's like our Pukekohe soil. Sugarcane again. Where we stayed last night in Hervey Bay, there were heaps of cockatoos, white ones, which were very noisy but nice to see. And we woke this morning and packed our bags to such beautiful bird song. Not the cockatoos. They're not very nice to listen to at all. They're real squawkers, but lots of other little birds. Lovely. And when we stopped yesterday, it's just a tree full of rosellas, rainbow lorikeets, which I love to see. So really enjoying the birds. It's a pretty typical kind of woodsy road that we're on, through sort of state forest land. riding. It's the odd dead wallaby on the side of the road, so we know they're in the area. I guess they're all over really, but you know, I don't think you can worry about it when you ride. Otherwise you'd ride everywhere at sort of 50 k's, just in case. But it's very, very pleasant riding. About 200 k's into our journey. We're over halfway. 1200 k's since we got here. It's just gone midday. Quite a lot of threatening rain clouds all around. It's got quite hilly. I just can't stop thinking about that movie Out of Africa. Just look around me and I just can't believe how much I think this could be Africa. I must read that book. So we're in a town called Miriamvale. Just had lunch here. And we're now on our way to Gladstone. It's about 70 k's away. Big thunderous clouds all around, but we haven't actually been rained on. But when the sun goes in and the wind blows, it's quite cold. And then the sun comes out and it's incredibly hot. So got the dual mic now. The adapter's wrapped in foil and the end of this cable is wrapped in foil. If this doesn't work, at least we know we can go back to the single mic and that will work. Just going through a little town called Borrowren. There's just so many Aussies with their caravans. So all the picnic spots get very well used. Apparently there's just tens of thousands of Aussies on the move constantly in Australia, just chasing the good weather around the country probably. They're all sort of, 60 plus years old, retired, wanting to get out of the cold climate. See how this whole environment is so vulnerable to fire and flood. Yeah, these big subdivisions are built right on the edge of the forests. from. James Cook pulled into Gladstone, and it was considered too risky a harbour to use as a harbour. I think at that point Australia was a myth, and he was over in this part of the world in the South Pacific because he was observing the transit of Venus in Tahiti, and he went down and discovered New Zealand, and then there was this myth of a landmass in this vicinity, and he discovered Australia and started mapping the east coast. And Gladstone was one of the places they pulled into. But somebody on the ship said, no, it's too risky, we shouldn't use this as a port. And then a few years later a ship came in and did get wrecked in the harbour. But it was used, and it's now the 4th biggest port for coal export from Australia. And it was a port where Britain sent a lot of its convicts to. So I think we're still a good sort of 10 or 15 minutes out. Like a very nice area. 23 k's out. Nice waterway around here. It's like a whole new subdivision that they're putting in. But they're putting in massive infrastructure first. It's like they're expecting so many people to come in here. Full tidal right up to here. Just coming into Gladstone town now. There was I don't know what it is. It's like a refinery or a chemical plant or something out to the right of us. It's probably the biggest industrial plant I've ever seen. I know they make chemicals here.